Hi guys, this is Brian with Bluegrass Honey and Bees. I've been trying to be really serious and professional with my videos, and I just can't do that because that's just not who I am. If you guys want to like and subscribe or follow, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, I don't mind. I'm really using this channel to keep track of what's going on with some of my bee yards, to see keep track of my day-to-day stuff that I'm doing, because I don't like taking notes, and to try to help someone if they're new to beekeeping, and to try to help those that buy nucs from me. And I apologize, I'm a brutally honest person. I don't do things the way everybody else does. I find none of that works for me. I don't read those beekeeping books. I tried, and I've learned over the years when I first started beekeeping that everything you read in that book is hogwash. And I know I'm going to get dinged and people are going to be upset because I said that, but it's the truth. Everything you read in that book really doesn't apply to beekeeping these days, other than keep your mite counts low, make sure your bees have feed, watch your queens and make sure they're laying good, and try to prevent swarming. But books really don't go into detail about that kind of stuff. Half the stuff the books teach, they're outdated. They're like 50 years old, 100 years old, some of the stuff that they're trying to teach, and it just doesn't really apply in the world anymore. So I don't follow those, and I really don't follow anybody else's YouTube channels and stuff that says, oh, do it this way, do it that way, this is how I do it, blah, blah, blah. They're fun to watch and entertaining, but they really don't help me. So I'm going to make my videos the way I want to make my videos, and I'm going to make them fun to watch, I hope, and entertaining, because I'm a joker. I like to joke and play around. And I'm just an honest person, so I'm going to just be brutally honest about it. I started this business, Bluegrass Honey and Bees, a couple years ago, and I'm slowly getting it off the ground. One day I'd love to be a commercial beekeeper, but I don't think that'll happen because I'm an engineer by trade, and the salary I make from engineering is really high. However, I love bees, and I like sharing my passion with others. I enjoy it. I love sharing my passion with my customers. When my customers come and pick up nucs, I have customers that stand around for hours just asking questions as I go through hives, and I like that. I like giving the little bit of knowledge I have to others, and whether it applies, whether they can use it, that's up to them. And sometimes it might not apply. It might not be helpful, but I like helping others. And the main reason I did this starting the business where I'm selling nucs and stuff like that is to support my hobby, support my bees, my sideline business, and to help others, because there's a real lack of customer service in bees. You buy nucs from somebody, they just want to make money, and they'll sell you high-priced nucs with sick bees. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. That's why I've been selling my bees pretty cheap. But anyway, all these hives out here you look at, they're not really hives. They're all queenless nucs, but they're huge nucs. I made them huge on purpose. They're raising their own queen. I didn't have time and didn't feel like grafting queens. I mean, I can graft and raise my own queens. That's how I sell my nucs. But this year I decided not to do that. Figured I'll see what the bees can do themselves and see if I can get them to draw some comb. So right now I'm going through every one of these nucs. There's 22 of them out here. Well, I'm not going through them all. I have a couple that are queen right that I stole the queen from the other hive, which is fine. They're building their queen. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to put broxasan on them because they're broodless now. Broxasan is a new mite treatment with oxalic acid. It's kind of like extended relief. It's supposed to knock down your mite count. I'm not really sure if it will or not. This is my first year, but if it helps keep it at the same number that it is, so they don't get out of control and start killing my bees and cause them to abscond and all that, and help keep disease level down, they're worth it. Now, I'm not following the instructions on broxasan entirely. And say you're supposed to put it between the frames like this, and then that messes your comb up. And for whatever reason, the bees don't like to draw it back out until the next honey flow. So I'm laying them across the top frames. Just like the extended release oxalic acid papers I've read, and I'm using it like that. And I'm only putting 4 strips on, and depending on the size of the colony, I might put 3 or 2, and I'll tear the strips in half if I need to. But I'm doing this my way. Everybody's like, oh, other people are like, oh, you shouldn't do it your way, you should do it this way or that person's way. Well, it's my way. They're my bees. I'm responsible to keep them alive. I do a pretty decent job of it, and if they die because of my management, then I lose money, and that's on me. So I'm going to do it my way. My way may not be the best way, but it's the best way for me. So we're going to go through this guy, and these are Italians, believe it or not. My yard in Richmond last year, I pulled all the queens off of it, and I let them raise their own queen, and I let them raise their own queen twice because I was testing something. I wanted to see how many of my bees would still come back and be carnioleans. Well, there's a lot of Italian hives around the world, or in Richmond, in Madison County. Lots of hobby beekeepers, and they all keep Italians for whatever reason. So all these are Italians, but there's a difference with these Italians. Even queenless, most of them are super gentle, which is shocking. I don't personally like Italian bees because they're stingy, but if they're gentle, I don't care. I don't care what breed of bee I have. I prefer the dark bees. I prefer carnies. I just like them. I understand them better. But if I find gentle Italians from what I'm doing with my yards, I'm going to keep them. I'm not going to kill the queen, but I'm not going to mate with them. I'm going to leave them on my out yards, and my mating yards will not have Italians. Now, this hive only has 3 frames of drawn comb, and it has 4 frames of bees. So this is kind of a smaller nuke, but it's not going to hurt anything, and I'm going to go ahead and put all 4 of these strips on it. Now you might say, oh, that's a waste of money with so little bees. Well, overkill is not a bad thing when it comes to mites. Mites are terrible things. You can not have a high mite load and somebody's colony collapse and the bees go rob them out, and next thing you know, you have 22 mites per 300 bees in your hive. So I like to overtreat and do mite washes and overtreat because, well, high mite count equals dead bees, and I don't want dead bees. I lost a lot of bees last winter on this yard. My other yards did pretty well, but I lost 60 hives. I lost one whole yard. 60 hives, including some nukes. And that's because I slacked last year, and I didn't keep up with my mite treatments. I fed them up. They had plenty of food. They were gorgeous going into the fall. Problem was, they had lots of mites. And I didn't do that final mite wash, and I should have. Boy, I should have. But it was my fault, and I'm pretty sure in the YouTube world you won't hear other beekeepers go, oh yeah, it was my fault, I didn't keep up with the bees, I let them die. I'll tell you that, because I'm brutally honest. And by doing so, I was hoping this spring would be like last spring, but this spring was terrible with all the rain. And by doing so, I kind of screwed the pooch this year. Not to mention, there's not really been anything nectar-wise until just now, and toward the end of June in Richmond. In the middle of June when it stopped raining so much, you know, and it was all my fault. I lost those bees, and I am not producing any honey this year because, well, the nectar flow was piss poor because of the weather. And everybody's like, oh no, you'll see people on YouTube, even in Kentucky, oh, I had a great honey flow. I don't think they did, because everybody else I know and I talk to that are beekeepers in different areas are like, yeah, all that rain just kept washing the nectar out. I don't have nothing. I've been feeding my bees since May, and I've been doing the same thing. So I don't really buy that there's much of a nectar flow in this area. Maybe up north, but up north in Kentucky got the same weather we did. And to be honest, and I'll probably alienate a bunch of beekeepers. They won't like me no more. But if anybody's making honey and selling honey to me this year, it'll be funny honey. What funny honey is sugar syrup. Because I watched my honey flows come and go this year, crying. Grow in bed, cried as it go to bed, all that rain. Oh, we're gonna get honey flow. It looks like it's gonna be a couple. No, we'd get about 2 days of decent weather, and then rain, and then rain for six days, and then 2 days of decent weather. So it kind of sucked. I think this is a queen right one, ain't it? Or are they further away? Was this the queen right one?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's not marked, they marked them.
Are you sure you marked them? I thought you just put the brick up. Sorry, I'm talking to my son. He's holding my camera. And my son, he's 15 years old. And he's a pretty good boy. He helps his dad out. So you saying this one's not queen, right?
Yeah.
He helps his dad out. He loves to work on bees. When we sell nucs, I get nothing but compliments on how good of a kid he is. Because you tell him to do something, he'll do it right. You know, so he's a pretty good boy. Not saying that other kids aren't good. Don't misunderstand. I'm saying my son, I'm proud of him. He does a great job. And we just bought this place that we're at in 2023 of December of 2023. And it's a farm, and I'm trying to make it a farm as well as keep bees. I like cows, I like chickens, I like pigs too, but I haven't got any pigs yet because I haven't built any containers to hold them in, or not containers, but pastures. Pigs are their own little animal. They have to have shade and all that stuff. Now your cows have to have shade too, but I got plenty of shade. If you turn the camera around, you see all my makeshift fencing right now. It's temporary. Goes all the way back, almost 20 acres right here, and I got another 20 to put up. And I'm keeping smaller cows because I don't want to spend a lot of money feeding them. I'd rather let them eat the grass. So, but my kids are enjoying it. Did you miss this hive?
I couldn't connection. I got one.
Oh, so you didn't do this one?
No.
Was this one queen, right?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure. We'll have to remember this hive didn't have them. And you got a couple more that we didn't have those Varoxysands on.
We ran out.
Yeah. So what we did with the Varoxysan is we went ahead and set it out on all the hives so we can make sure we had enough. And that also makes it a little bit quicker when we're going to go in the hive and put stuff in it. Generally, I have my son help me do this. It takes us about 10-15 minutes. But today, I decided to make some videos and let y'all watch what I'm doing. And not just because I'm letting y'all watch, it's so I can remember what I did. Because you get busy, got work, kids, farm, and you forget. We're only human. We're not robots. And this one, I thought you said they were all big. They're not all big, man. I know I went through them and put them in these boxes. I thought they were going to all be big, but they're not all big yet. Heck, the way they're sounding, some of them might have a queen in there. She may have mated and not started laying yet. And it's very important, at least in my opinion, when you're raising queens and you have to do stuff like manipulate the hive or do treatments or feed, but you really don't open them up. You want to take a chance of killing that queen, and you also don't want to take the chance that she's still flying and that she's going to fly out that box and be gone. And believe it or not, a queen can still fly. She can fly for a long time before she gets too big. And if she's not super big and her wings aren't clipped or anything, she can fly away. I won't tell you guys, well, you'd be shocked at how many queens I've marked after they've been in the box for 2 or 3 months, that when I sit down on the frame, they fly away. And I look, I go, well, that just sucked. So we try to get the queen marked and put her in on a frame and close it up as quick as we can sometimes when they're new queens. Otherwise, she's gonna be like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. Now, if she made it in that box or made it in that location, she'll fly back because she remembers. She orientated to that hive for a mating flight. But if she didn't, bye-bye queen. Also, and some people will argue that that's not the case, and sometimes it ain't, but if I've seen it happen once or twice, I don't take the risk. If you get a newly mated queen and she ain't been in that box long enough and she ain't been laying long enough and her hormones aren't just right, her pheromones, everything she sprays in, she transfers to the other bees so that they love her to death, they aren't just right, you mark that queen, you put her in that box, they're gonna kill her. A lot of times they're gonna kill her. Others will say, no, that's impossible. I'd hate to tell you how many queens I've killed over the years doing that, marking them too early. And I've killed hundreds doing that. She come back, made a great laying pattern, been in the box about a week or a month. Like, I'm gonna mark her so I don't lose her, so I can find her easy, because marking's good, quick way to find your queens when in a hurry, and I'll mark her and put her in there, and I'll be darned if they don't ball her up and kill her, or if they don't supersede her, because they don't like to mark. Now over time, you mark them, they've been in the box for a while, they won't do that. But when she's a month to 2 months old, they'll kill her. And others will disagree, but I've seen it happen too many times for it to be a coincidence. Too many times. And I'm sure there'll be others out there going, hey look, I just marked this queen, she's been in the box for just a week and she's great, they didn't kill her. Well, you don't really know if she's been in the box for a week. Not saying all people are like this, but there's not a lot of truthful people left in the world, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. You know, you see it every day, everywhere you go. You watch it on the news, you say, hey, be careful at this store because someone put one of those card readers in there so they can steal your money. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I just don't trust a lot of people when it comes to that. I like to do things based on what I know and my experience. So, as you can see, I'm just laying 4 Varoxazone strips across top. And I'm trying to give them some space. And some of them I'm gonna kind of cattywampus them the best I can. Here, I'm gonna show my age. Y'all see how that's in that box? If you're as old as I am, you remember this, and it used to show up on your screen. Boop, boop, boop. It was an old show, Dukes of Hazzard. Old Roscoe Pico used to make that sound, and every time I made that sound, you'd see that, and that was an insignia for a CB radio back in the day. Every time I see it, still I hear goop, goop, goop. Roscoe Pico. And those were the good old days. The world was probably the same way it is today, but it wasn't as publicized, I reckon. Now, I should be hitting these queen right ones soon, shouldn't I? I would think so. Maybe not. Now look at these guys. They're Italian. There's a little bit of my genetics mixed in, but Richmond, that test I did in Richmond, it sure did prove me wrong. I was like, man, I think they'll come back and be carny because there's a lot of carnies in here, in this area. Nope. Look at them. You got some carny intermixed, but these guys here, and their queen was dark, they bred the carny right out of her. And I have some queens that came back and they look just like an Italian, so they bred the carny right out of her. So they're what I would call them hybrid butt bees. They're mutts, but hopefully they don't get mean. If they do get mean, you know, I'm not going to sell these kind of bees. I'm going to sell my carnies that I like. But if they do get mean, it's a simple solution. I'm going to kill the queen and requeen her. I have mating yards that are surrounded by carnies that come back, and there's some genetics in it that's gold, but mostly I'd say about 90% of them, of the bees in that box and that yard, they're all full carny. Well, I wouldn't say full, they're still mixed genetics, because when you open mate, bee mate with anything. So they'll mate with the guy's hive down the road. You can't really control that. As long as that guy don't have super mean bees, it won't be that bad. But if they got mean bees, it's going to be really bad. But then you also get some of the traits of my bees. And I don't know, you'll hear people say, yeah, we're raising bees on purpose to have gentle bees. You can't really determine the genetics that the hive's going to be when the queen goes out and mates. You can hope. You can watch that nuke and see if it's going to be gentle. But she goes out and mates with another hive, and it could be a carny hive even. I've seen carnies that aren't happy. She can go out and mate with another. So my camera, it shut off on me. It got too hot, I reckon. But what I was saying is, it's hard to make queens to be to make genetics, to say, oh, I'm trying for great honey genetics, honey producing genetics, or calm bees, or anything else, because when they fly out to open mate, unless you're in a sealed environment that's only going to mate with the colonies that are great honey producers, you're going to get a mish of genetics. You're going to get bees that don't produce well. You're going to have some drones that come from colonies that are mean. You'll have some drones that might come from colonies that have good genetics for high beetles and things like that, you know, that are defensive. And you might get some good colonies that make honey. Or you might get the opposite and have a shit sandwich. Anyway, I'm gonna log out and wish you guys the best, and I'll upload this video soon. Bye bye.